3, 2, 1. My guitarist and I spent more than a year writing one song. We didn't mean to as such, but we were both really into prog rock and prog metal back then, two genres that feature song lengths well in excess of 10 minutes. He was listening to Mastodon, Meshuggah and King Crimson, and I'd gotten into Yes, Hawkwind and Pink Floyd. Thanks again, Dad. You get the idea of the kind of stuff we were into at the time. I'd been fiddling around with this chord progression on my 12-string guitar, and I played it to him. He really enjoyed it, and the next day he came along with his own piece. We decided to transition from my song straight into his, and then we wrote another song that went on the end of that piece. And then another, and we were like, oh, we're writing a musical suite like Echoes or Paranoid Android here. Before we knew it, we had a single song with 7 distinct parts that made Bohemian Rhapsody's structure seem like a pop radio hit. It was a hell of a piece. We knew we wanted to make something big, and it was more than 20 minutes long at this point. We didn't expect it to get that big. So we kept working on this song for about a year until we literally just looked at each other one day and agreed, yeah, let's stop and work on what we have, maybe try to record it. This is a story of how we wrote and recorded a single piece of music that was as long as some albums, recording it in less time than most people take to finish just one song. Later I'll play you some of it. French poet Paul Valéry, apologies for butchering your language, France, said that a work is never truly completed but abandoned. In recording this monstrosity of a song, we saw this as a snapshot, an attempt at a representation of where we were musically at that time. We scraped together some money and were just about able to afford 2 days at a recording studio. That was it. 2 days. 2 days to put on literal record the culmination of more than a year of work. All told, we spent about 18 hours in that studio over those 2 days. Day 1 was nothing but laying down drums. We didn't sing or play a single note until day 2, which gave us about 9 hours to get everything else down. I'm talking electric guitar, acoustic guitar, 5-part vocal harmonies, spoken word, lengthy instrumental sections, rain stick, non-musical samples, tambourine, parlay, shaker, bass, church bells. It was non-stop! The studio time we paid for would only allow us to be there from 9 AM until 6 PM. We had a lot of work to do. Despite all, maybe because of the 6 PM of day 2 rolled around faster than an Eddie Van Halen guitar solo, we put away our instruments, loaded up the car, and went to decompress in my guitarist's garden, where we sat in complete silence, sharing a bottle of red wine that we had bought for this occasion. Around us was the sound of Bristol's rush hour as the day's commuters made their slow journey back home. It was almost peaceful after the barrage of music we'd subjected ourselves to over the previous couple of days. It is very hard to put down into words just how intense those 2 days were, but at the same time just how fleeting it was as well. We didn't feel good. We didn't feel the satisfaction of a job well done, partly because we knew it wasn't over. We hadn't even started recording bass, so I had to do that on my 8-track back at home, and then the whole thing would still need to be mastered and produced. You could say we were just over half done, but all that adrenaline, all that fervour and energy to get as much done in 2 days as we could had just completely drained us. There's a well-known story about one of the guitarists from Status Quo who took cocaine the night before, kept on playing and recording music, saw the band the next morning, and they couldn't believe that he'd written so many songs just over the course of the night non-stop. I don't do drugs, but some things were making sense to me at this point. We just sat there with this feeling of what I can only describe as deflation, and honestly, we hated each other for a bit. My guitarist actually said to me that he was so close to punching me right in the face, which I thought was a little bit extreme, but fair enough, I had wanted to do the same to him on many times before. So later I went home, recorded the bass lines and sent them over to him, and he spent about 30 hours over the following weekend mixing and mastering the whole song in Audacity. Let me repeat that. He did nothing all weekend but master a 33-minute song in a free open source audio editor. I think at one point there was as many as 40 individual tracks playing at once. Shout out Audacity. Who knew it could handle that? Today, it is probably the most intense musical experience I have ever undertaken. When the final product was produced, we listened to it and were absolutely blown away. We were legitimately proud of what we had made. The question was, does it hold up to this day? We had made, by definition, an epic, a 33-minute multi-part suite that was produced in 7 days, from recording the first drum hit to burning the first CD. Was it worth it? The blood, sweat and tears, the stress and strain of friendships, the price in terms of both time and money. Hell yeah! I listened back to it for the first time in years only a few weeks ago, and it holds up. I recommend that all musicians, even hobbyists and amateurs, should try and push themselves out of their comfort zone and record something, even if it's only onto Audacity. What we made was not a finished product. It was a snapshot in time of where we were as musicians. And if you want to hear this piece, tough. I'm not going to link the song or tell you what it's called. It's still technically available for purchase online, but only under my old guitarist's name, and I don't really want to give him any attention, because, well, maybe I'll go into that another time. Besides, I wouldn't get any money for it. Maybe one day I'll change my mind. What I can say is that the backing to this video that you are watching right now is a reimagining of the first section of that song, which was the part that I composed almost entirely by myself. This section is called The Watcher. This is a snapshot of a work that was abandoned.
What fears lie in the minds of man? When people pry into all that they can, to seek and to grow, to learn and to know, to feel and taste, to hold and to chase.